What I love about Chinese medicine is there's just so much to learn, and everyone who comes in has a completely different case. There's not one person who's the same as another individual. So every individual comes in with a different treatment, and you treat everyone differently. So it's always, a learning curve, I think, with Chinese medicine. One patient is never the same as another patient. So there's so much variety, there's so much you need to learn, because there's lots of things that might come in with a condition you've never seen before. So you've got to do a lot of research, and also, it's always learning. So we get to see patients day in, day out. It's good, you get to build rapport with them, gain their trust. And the best thing is, they come back and you see that they've improved week after week, and that's really good job satisfaction. Growing up, my father being in Chinese medicine before I was even born, I grew up around the thing. We never had any Panadols or anything in our cupboard. As soon as you open our cupboard at our house, it was Chinese herbs. The place used to smell of cooking up herbs, and I think I recall having my first acupuncture needle at the age of 2 or 3. So I've grown up around Chinese herbal medicine and acupuncture, so that's how I've become so familiar with it. Generally in Western medicine, I find that when you go to a doctor and you've got a headache, they'll just prescribe you a headache tablet for a headache. But in Chinese medicine, it's a different approach. In Chinese medicine, headaches, you can come in with cold and flu for 6 different types of diagnosis or even more. So it's a very individualized treatment. So based on each individual conditions, we look at the yin-yang balance, we look at the organs involved. We'll then diagnose a very specific herbal remedy for that particular individual. We actually get to the root cause of the problem based on their actual symptoms and signs, rather than just masking the problem with just one sort of generic formula. First thing after high school, I actually always wanted to get into business. But then at the time it was around the millennium, so I actually started in IT because that was the big thing to do. So my first degree was actually in computer science. So I went to University of Technology Sydney and did a computer science degree. After that I worked for about 2 years and absolutely did not like being in IT. I felt like I was more a people person, and that being stuck in a cubicle wasn't really for me. So then I went to China. I did a Chinese medicine course there for 3 months and absolutely loved it. So when I came back, I enrolled in the University of Technology Sydney and did the Bachelor of Science in Traditional Chinese Medicine. So after that, that was a 4-year course. I then started my own practice while working alongside my father, and started in pretty much my own clinic doing acupuncture and Chinese herbal medicine. It's a more individual treatment, and it's a basis on each person's individual constitution and what they're coming in for. So it's very important to get a complete medical background check of what sort of problems and illnesses they've been through. We look at the sort of strength of the pulse, we look at the sort of how fast or how slow the pulse is, and we also look at there's 3 different pulse rates. So you've got the superficial, the middle and the deep pulse. So through the qualities of the pulse and through the rate of the pulse, we can tell sort of what organs, and each organ has a position in the pulse as well. So it's quite an art. So what I'm feeling for is a sort of tensile strength in a way, and also how superficial or deep her pulse is. So at the moment, her pulse in the kidney position is very weak. That indicates that she's got a weak lower back. She's also got a generally weak and thready deep pulse, which means that there's a bit of lack of energy. She could do with a bit of more energy. She's quite a weak system overall, and also her digestion is not very good as well. Her stomach and her spleen pulse is weak as well. But it's through taking pulses of thousands of patients do you then become familiar with and become more experienced in sort of what organs, and using that as a diagnosis. And then through that diagnosis, we can then have a herbal remedy or Chinese herbal diagnosis based on pulse diagnosis. Yin is like the negative and yang is like the positive, or you can say the heat or the cold. So every spectrum of Chinese herbal medicine has a yin-yang sort of spectrum from sort of cold to hot. So a lot of the herbs that we use are sort of cooling or heat producing herbs. So there's spectrums of in between from one extreme to another. And depending on your condition, so if you're more yang, so you've got more heat in your system, we'll give you more yin herbs to bring down that heat, and vice versa. In China, in one hospital morning, they could see hundreds and hundreds of patients. So as a first point of call now, they go to see Chinese herbal medicine and they can have acupuncture and Chinese herbs. And a lot of the hospitals now actually cook up the herbs, very easy for the patients to just take with them. And it's all very convenient, and it's basically the first point. It's like going to a GP here. A lot of people probably out there haven't tried Chinese herbal medicine before. They've basically just popped in a Panadol if they've got a headache or, sore ache and pain. So I think, the thing with Chinese medicine is if they're looking for a more holistic treatment, a more alternative treatment to just the conventional medicine, that this is definitely something to try. Even the Western medicine has started to pick up on Chinese herbal remedies and how good they can be, like say ginseng, which is a great tonic and booster for energy. And even like goji berry juice, like everyone's been going on about goji berries, which are, also Chinese herbal medicine. So the Western medicine is definitely seeing the benefits of Chinese herbal medicine and starting to jump on the bandwagon. So I suggest that if you have, you would love to help people and like to see people improve in terms of, helping them with their health, I think this is a great profession because there's always so much to learn. And it's just an all-natural way. And I think with Australia heading towards more alternative medicine, so this is a definitely big growing industry. And a lot of people now are finding conventional medicine just isn't working for them, and that they're turning towards holistic healing. So I think this is a great start for people that are interested in sort of going towards the medicine field and going towards alternative medicine. This is definitely exciting and growing field at the moment.